an uncle's niece's husband, who has been ill for a while, has reached lotus feet for the Lord Bhagwan early this morning, U.S. time. So it's really unfortunate, but we thank you all for your prayers. Um, and we pray and bless and for his soul to rest in peace. Our heartfelt condolences, Uncle. Really sorry.
Thank you all for all your prayers all these days. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Uncle.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Brother Maunish. Good morning.
Sai Ram, good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, Uncle. We can get started.
Okay. So today we will do the Aatmane Upasana. As usual, the lines are short, easy to chant, and they have a refrain like Mantrah Pushpam. And just like Mantrah Pushpam, very difficult to understand. But we will make an effort. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Gananaan Va Ganapati Gum Havamahe Kavin Kavinamupamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvanutibhis Sidasadanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhirvajinivati Dheenamavitpriyavatu Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswatyai Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tannas Sarvah Prachodayat Atha Atmane Upasana Mantraha Brahma Atmanvada Srijata Tadakamayata Samatmana Padyayeti Atmanatmannitya Mantrayata Tasmai Dashamagum Hutah Pratyashunot Sadashahuto Bhavat Dashahuto Havaina Maishaha Tamva Etam Dashahutagum Santam Dashahote Tyachakshate Parokshena Parokshappriya Ivahi Devaha Atmannatmannitya Mantrayata Tasmai Saptamagum Hutah Pratyashunot Saptahuto Bhavat Saptahuto Havaina Maishaha Tamva Etagum Saptahutagum Santam Saptahote Tyachakshate Parokshena Parokshappriya Ivahi Devaha Atmannatmannitya Mantrayata Tasmai Shashtagum Hutah Pratyashunot Sashadhuto Bhavat Shadhuto Havaina Maishaha Tamva Etagum Shadhutagum Santam Shadhote Tyachakshate Parokshena Parokshappriya Ivahi Devaha Atmannatmannitya Mantrayata. Now this Panchamahutam, these lines are chanted when we show the Panchaharati Deepam to the Vigraha. Whenever we do Arati, Vedic Arati. Tasmai Panchamagum Hutah Pratyashunot Sa Panchahuto Bhavat Panchahuto Havaina Maishaha Tamva Etam Panchahutagum Santam Panchahote Tyachakshate Parokshena Parokshappriya Ivahi Devaha Atmannatmannitya Mantrayata Tasmai Chaturthagum Hutah Pratyashunot Sa Chaturhuto Bhavat Chaturhuto Havaina Maishaha Tamva Etam Chaturhutagum Santam Chaturhote Tyachakshate Parokshena Parokshappriya Ivahi Devaha Tamabravit Tvam Vaimenedishtagum Bhutah Pratyashraushi Tvayai Nana Khyatara Iti Tasmanuvai Nagish Chaturhotara Ityachakshate Tasmaat Shushrushu Putranagum Hrudyatamaha Nedishtho Hrudyatamaha Nedishtho Brahmano Bhavati Ya Evam Veda. These are all lines which indicate how near is the Atma and how we are near to the Atma. The conclusion is Nedishtho Brahmano Bhavati. Nedishtha means nearest. As Swami says, nearest and dearest. So Nedishtha is the nearest is Brahman himself, or Brahman, the Atma Tattvam, the Brahma Tattvam. Bhavati is the word is, the verb. So the nearest is Brahman himself or Brahman itself actually. So that is the conclusion. Now, how do we reach the conclusion in actual practice? Is now here there are two uh, discussions. The one is that this the ahuti, the dasha ahutis are given by Prajapati, and Brahma Tattvam is looking from afar. And the other interpretation is the dasha ahutis are given by us Manusyas, and the same devata is looking from afar. Parokshena. Paroksha means not from directly front face to face, but somewhere in a remote location. Or you can say not seen by the eyes. That is the correct interpretation. Brahma, the first line, Brahma Atman Vada Srjata. Brahma Atman Vat Asrjata. The verb is Asrjata, means created. So Brahma Atman Vat. Atman Vat means for his own self. Created. What? And then in this process of creation, Tad Akamayata. Tad Akamayata means he had this desire, kamana. He made the kamana desire. Sam atmana padyayeti, sam atmana padi ayeti. So may all this creation be in the atmane pada, or with the atma within me. Let not this creation be away from me. Sam atmana padi ayeti. So let all of them have the atmane pada, or the nearest tattva within them. And then in that sense, Atman Nityamantrayata, the verb is Amantrayata, means Amantranam or Nimantranam Kuru. So whom should you do Amantranam or invite? Atman Nitya means always. Amantrayata. The word Amantrayata in the Vedic sense means to chant and invite, whereas in the regular Hindi, Marathi, Telugu we say Amantranam or Nimantranam is invitation. So Amantrayata means to chant and to remember and invite. So in this way, always we should Nityam Amantrayata Atman. We should always give the invitation to Atman all the time. And then Tasmai. Tasmai is in the sense of Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai means the one who has all these qualities, or the one who is being referred to in these lines. Dashamam Bhutaha Prati Ashrunoto. So he heard the 10th ahuti or the 10th sacrifice, Prati Ashrunoto. So obviously here it could be Prajapati, the creator assigned to creation. Sa Dashahuto Bhavat, Dashahutaha Abhavat, again past tense, Abhavat. So this is a creation which happened. So he became the Dashahutaha, or the person having done the Dasha ahutis. Dashahuto ha vai nama eshaha. So his nama or his sanya or quality has been, he's been named as Dashahuta because he has done the Dasha ahutis. So Dasha ahutis could be the Pancha Karmendriyas and the Pancha Jnanendriyas in order to construct the Manusya Sharira. So tam vai etam dashahutam santam. In this manner, tam vai, indeed, enam etam means all these, dashahutam, the 10 ahutis, santam, happened. So in this manner stated about the Dasha ahutis happened. Dashahote iti achakshate parokshena. Achakshate means supervised. Parokshena means from afar, not face to face, or from a invisible position. You can also say that, from within. So whoever was doing the Dasha ahuti, he supervised him and watched him with a loving gaze from somewhere paroksha, from somewhere invisible. Because paroksha priya ivahi devaha. This deva is paroksha priya. It means he is very dear to those who view him with paroksha drishti, or with not the eyes. And in turn, he also views us from paroksha drishti without eyes, because he is actually a tattva which is within us. So he is a paroksha priya. So those who remember him as the Atma Tattva, and he will remember them as the Atma Tattva, and in turn that love will be akhanda. or continuously flowing. He's Paroksha Priya. But sometimes, by inviting the avatar to take birth, we become Pratyaksha Priya. That is, we want to see the avatar face to face because we are not able to have the Paroksha Drishti or the Paroksha Bhavana. But he is actually Paroksha Priya. He likes the Paroksha and he answers to the Paroksha prayers. So then we have Atman, Atman, Nitya Amantrayata. Nitya Amantrayata, Atman Eva. Means Nitya, always Amantrayata, invite, chant and invite the Atma Tattvam. Tasmai Saptamam Bhutah Prati Ashrunotu. Sa Sapta Huto Bhavat. He became the Sapta Hotaha. Abhavata is in the past tense. He became Sapta Hutaha Havai Nama Eshaha. His name became the Sapta Huta. Tam va etam saptahutam santam saptahote iti achakshate parokshena. Again, he was supervised parokshena by the Brahma Tattvam as the saptahota because paroksha priya ivahi devaha, because the deva is paroksha priya. And again, atman atman nityamantrayata tasmai shashtham bhutah prati ashrunotu. The word prati ashrunotu is a echo. Prati means resound, reflection. Ashrunotu is referring to hearing. So we heard it as an echo that he did the sixth ahuti. So shadhuto bhavat. The dha becomes only because of sandhi. It is shat plus hu. So ta plus ha becomes a dha. So that is in the sandhi. Shadhuto bhavat. Shadhuto havai namaisha. His name became the Shadhuta. Tamva etam Shadhutam santam. He became the sixth ahuti. Shadhote iti achakshate parokshena. So the Supreme Brahman viewed the sixth ahuti because he is Paroksha Priya. He is very dear to those who view him in Paroksha Drishti or don't view him in Paroksha. Shankaracharya has called this Aparoksanubhuti. Aparoksha means not Pratyaksha but Aparoksha. Something like, it's a difficult term to understand. It's very abstract. So Atman, Atman, Nityamantrayata. Now we come to the lines which are very favorite in the Vedic Arati. Tasmai Panchamahutang Gum Bhutah Pratyashunot Sa Panchahuto Bhavat Panchahuto Havaina Maisha Tamva Etam Panchahutagum Santam Panchahote Tyachakshate Parokshena Paroksha Priya Ivahi Devaha Atmanat Manitya Mantrayata. The same thing repeated. The one who did the Panchama Ahuti is very lovingly looked upon by the Atma Tattvam or the Brahma Tattvam. He became the Panchahota, the one who did the fifth Ahuti. And in this way, we should remember him, the Atman and the Prajapati both. Atman, Atman, Nitya Mantrayata. Then again, we have Chaturtha Hutaha Prati Ashrunotu. Chaturhuto Bhavata, Chaturhuto Havaina Maisha. Tamva Etam Chaturhutam Santam, Chaturhote Tyachakshate Parokshena. Now we have a conclusion which is different. Paroksha Priya Iva Hai Devaha. Tamabravita. Tam means in the manner stated in these lines. Abravita means was stated. It was uttered. Bravimi or to bruyate means to speak. Tvam vai me nedishtham bhutah pratyashraushihi. Me nedishtham. Nedishtham is the nearest. And prati ashraushi. So who are the prati ashraushi means the ones who heard this resound, reflection, these sounds or these results from the ahuti. They are the nearest. Please become nearest. The Atma Tattvam as the Prati Shraushi become the nearest to me. And then Vayai Nana Khyatara iti. Tvaya Ena Akhyatara iti. Tvaya means for you all, for you, Ena by these mantras, this Brahma Tattva becomes the Akhyatara or the speaker who is the expander of these ideas, the Akhyataram. We have the same Akhyanam in Shiksham Vya Akhya Syama, the Vyakhya or Akhya. It means to make it known. So Akhyatara is the one who makes this known. Tvaya ena, to you, ena, by these mantras, he becomes the Akhyatara, the person who speaks and makes it known. Tasmat, nu, hainam, ha enam. Tasmat, nu, ha enam. Nu and ha is again the word emphasis. Enam means with these. Chaturhotara, with these 4 ahutis stated here. Iti achakshate. With these 4 ahutis, it was seen. Iti achakshate. Tasmat sushrushuhu putranam hrudyatamaha. Who are the Shishrushu Putras, the Putras or the sons of the Shishrushu, the sons of the Dhvani or the Shravanam, that is the Rishis, who heard these mantras, they are Hridyatamaha, they are the heartfelt in the highest degree, in Tamaha, and Nedisthaha Hridyatamaha, they are the nearest of the heart dwellers in the Brahma Tattvam heart, and they become Nedisthaha Brahmano Bhavati. So Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati, that feeling is there again. They become the nearest, and those who follow these ahutis and these mantras and understand them, they become Brahman. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati, that same. So one who understands these mantras becomes the mantra himself, becomes the Brahman himself. Ya evam Veda. So this is what is stated in the Veda. Actually, this is in the, it's equal to an Upanishad, because the ideas are very abstract and very difficult to understand, just like mantra pushpam, but one of the mantras is used every day in archana, in the arati. So even though this is a little over the top even for me, I still invite discussions and questions for this particular topic. Please go ahead. Sai Ram.
Sairam uncle. Actually, this particular this mantra is mentioned as Atma Suktam in our book from the Bharti book.
It's the Suktam typically is a particular grouping which is heard by one Rishi, and it has got one chanda or 2, 3 chandas and so on. So this is not heard by one Rishi, and there is no such, the Rishi, Chanda and Devata. These 3, they qualify the Sukta.
Okay.
So these are the grouping of mantras. It's like Shivopasana Mantraha. It was not, whether we don't know whether it was heard by one Rishi or a group of Rishis, and we don't know that grouping. That's why the Sukta word cannot be used here.
Okay, okay, uncle. Uncle,
Sukta
actually,
typically, Sukta is translated to as poetry or poem, one poem. So it's a grouping of mantras, but it's not a poem in itself.
okay, okay, uncle.
Like
Yeah,
even
then-
for mantra pushpam, we don't say the mantra pushpa suktam. We just say mantra pushpam, or the grouping of mantras, or the flowers of the mantras. That's all. The word suktam is not used there. Similarly, the word suktam is appropriately cannot be used here. Yeah, it can be written somewhere. You can write it Atma Suktam. Like even for na karmana praja, they use the word sannyasa suktam. It's not a suktam. It is just a sannyasa sambodhanat mantraha. These mantras are used to sambodhana sannyasis. They are chanted when a sannyasi comes to your house. Na karmana na prajaya. So the people call it sannyasa suktam, which is again a misnomer.
okay, okay.
So you can use the word Atma Suktam, but it's a Atmane Upasana.
Okay, okay.
Or to go near the Atma by Upasana, or to be near the Atma and achieve Brahma Tattvam, Nedishto Brahmano Bhavati. That is Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. The nearest, who realizes the nearest, becomes the nearest. Nedishto Brahmano Bhavati.
Okay.
And it is in the, one of the days, it's in the syllabus of the Prashanti chanting in the last 15 minutes after Purusha Suktam.
Yes, yes. Uncle. So actually, that's what I was coming to. So in both Saptamagam and the Shashtagam part of this, they have that Tamva Etagam Saptahutagam Santam, right? But
Yes.
for the first and the last, they don't. They have Tamva Etam only in the chanting. So is there any grammar rule for that, or is it just how it is?
Hey, what is the question? I'm not clear on the question.
No, here they have tamva etagum, but here it is tamva etam. So is there a grammatical rule, or is it?
It's simple. The gum is uttered only when it is followed by a shakara, that is sha saha.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like in Gananantva Ganapati Gum Hava Mahe. In Rigveda it is Ganapatim Havamahe, because ha, sha, sha, saha, because the following is a ha, so it becomes a gum. So the rule is not concerned with this suktam. The rule is in the general Taittiriya Shakha, that
Okay.
whenever a Anuswara is followed by a sha, sha, saha, it becomes a gum. And again, if that sha, sa, saha is a yuktakshara, like ishcha, then becomes a guggu. And again, there is a short guggu and there is a long guggu. So these are the rules that's given in the rule chart which I have given earlier.
Yes, yes, sir.
It's a general rule why it becomes a gum.
Okay, okay. Uncle, and after yeah, Evam Veda, they I think in Parthi they chant Atmane Namaha. Is it part of the Brahmana or is that something?
Atmane Namaha is again, I am doing namaskar to myself.
Okay, okay,
So it is not in the Veda. In the Veda, yeah, Evam Veda is the last line in this grouping.
okay,
Atmane Namaha, like you saying Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya, it is not there in the original Rudram, but we add it in the beginning.
okay, okay.
And
Thank
also some people in Maharashtra, they begin the Rudram with the Shanti Patha, Idadeva Hur Manur Yajnanihi, not with the Shanchame Mayaschame, that which is in the South Indian version. So the Shanti Patha is used at the beginning and the ending, both, like a Samputi Karana, like a boxing.
you. Okay,
So these are the variations in the Acharana or the practice of the mantras.
okay, okay.
So Atmane Nama simply is saying, like you are saying that I bow to myself.
Thank you, Uncle.
But there is actually a Vedic verse referring to the Namaskar to Atman. Ardran Jwalatir Jyotir Ahamasmi. Ardran Jwalati, that which is wet yet burns. That Jyoti Ahamasmi. I am that Jyoti. Jyotir Jwalatir Brahmahamasmi. That Jyoti which is Jwalati, which is burning, that is Brahman, Ahamasmi. Yohamasmi Brahmahamasmi. Yoham. Whosoever is this is Brahman. Yohamasmi Brahmahamasmi. Ahamasmi Brahmahamasmi. I am indeed I. I am indeed Brahman. Ahameva aham. I am I. Swami has said this I am I Annaru in Telugu. Ahameva aham. Mam juhomi swaha. Mam juhomi means I myself sacrifice myself. Swaha. That is the Purusha Medha, which is not easily understood. People recite these lines again in the Arati. Ardranjwalatir Jyotirhamasmi Jyotirjwalatir Brahmahamasmi Yohamasmi Brahmahamasmi Sohamasmi Brahmahamasmi Ahameva Aham Manjuhomi Swaha. Mam Juhomi means I sacrifice myself into the fire. Swaha. So this is actually you are doing in a sense namaskara to yourself and sacrificing yourself. These are in the Vedas, the Mahanarayana Upanishad, these lines.
Oh,
Whereas
okay,
in this, the Evam Veda is the last line. The other is Atmane Nama is an added line.
okay, okay.
It means that I am doing namaskara to myself. Now these mantras are typically mantras which lead you to the Atma Tattvam, and that's why they are very abstract and they need a lot of chintana, manana, manomanthana. Anyone else with any other?
Uncle, also I had the doubt of the like why they have mentioned those particular number of that ahutis, uncle. Like first Dashamagam, then Saptamagam. Is there any significance for that?
That ahuti may be concerned with a particular jnanendriya or a particular kramendriya.
Oh, okay,
Means
okay,
I have not read anybody who has commented on that, and I have not found any answer to this myself. The Chaturtha Ahuti, the Panchama Ahuti, the Shashtha Ahuti, Saptama Ahuti, and the Dashama Ahuti. Why 1, 2 are not mentioned? Why 8 is not mentioned? Even I don't know. And even Saranacharya, no, even Saranacharya has written just 3 lines on about this entire grouping in his Bhashyam.
okay, okay.
So there is no, I mean, even I have not received the answer. Even Saranacharya apparently has not received any answer about this.
Thank you, uncle.
Typically, these mantras, if you utter during deep meditation, then the answers reveal themselves. So they are all meditation mantras. This mantra pushpam, this Atmane Namaskaram, and the others, similar ones.
They're also chanted during Mahanyasam, right, Uncle?
Mahanyasam, Atmane Namaskara is not in Mahanyasam. Atman Nitya mantra yata.
Let's see, I thought, okay. So does Mahanyasam list vary from place to place, Uncle, or it's standard?
In South India, it is standard.
Okay.
And even I have only the South Indian version. I don't have the Maharashtrian version or the Varanasi version. Even in Varanasi, the teachers are from South India, from Tamil Nadu. So even they will follow the same Mahanyasam. In the Taittiriya Shakha Rudram. You are talking of Rudram Mahanyasam, no?
Right.
So far as I have seen, it is the same.
I see, okay.
Because the teachers in Varanasi who teach the Taittiriya Shakha, they are all from Tamil Nadu. The Ganapathis.
I see. Like the, I think one of the other mantra we discussed, I guess, like I don't remember. It's just a 6 verses that mantra.
That is Shiva Sankalpa Sukta.
Shiva Sankalpam. So
Shiva
even
Sankalpa
that is
Sukta,
chanted during this.
that is there only two mantras are there in the Mahanyasam. Yad Jagrotu Duramati Devan. That is there and another one is there. The number 3 is there and number 1 is there. Second one is not there. Out of the 6, 2 are there in Mahanyasam.
I see.
Actually, the mantras are from Madhyam Dina Shakha, which is chanted in the monotonous style with the Hasta Mudras. And the Kanva Shakha people have adopted those mantras and chanted in the Kanva style, which is again some sort of a Apabhramsha. And then in the Mahanyasam, 2 mantras are there in the Mahanyasam, which are not there in the Taittiriya Shakha, which are in this Madhyam Dina Shakha. So again, they are there in the Mahanyasam.
I see, okay.
So whatever human paramparas have happened, we find variation in the paramparas. Like similarly, Sri Suktam. The Sri Suktam is not there in the Veda Samhita, which is why we find several versions of swaras and several versions of even aksharas in the Sri Suktam. Like Adram Yahkarinim is the first one. In some others, it is Adram Pushkarinim. And Pushtim Pingalam versus Pushtim Suvarnam. So again, those combinations vary from ashram to ashram. Because the original Bhaskala version has been lost to humanity. So we have versions, which are adopted by ashrams according to their own learnings. And this has come from the days where there was no internet and intercommunication between Kanyakumari and Kashmir. So everybody retained their own version. That's why we have multiple versions of Ganpati Atharva Shirsha as well as Sri Suktam. Because the original has been lost.
Sri Suktam especially popular because of,
yeah,
everyone interested in riches.
The favorite, yes. But Rudram in the Taittiriya Shakha is the same because it has been preserved in its original form. And even in North India, the people who chant the Taittiriya Shakha, they are all from South. They are all from Tamil Nadu for the last 400-500 years. All the teachers of the Taittiriya Shakha in Varanasi are from Tamil Nadu, mostly. So Rudram, as we chanted, is in the original form, and that's why there is no variation in that. If you find a variation, then it's a mistake. It's not a variation.
Just curious, like in Maharashtra, do you chant like the way it is done in, say, like Tamil Nadu?
In Maharashtra, they give a jhatka in the Anudatta. Ganapatim Hava Mahe, that way. Anudatta, they give a slight jhatka. That's the Varanasi style of chanting Rigveda and the Atharva Veda. They give a jhatka on the Anudatta.
So it is still Krishna Yajurveda.
But the swaras are same. But then again, those chanters are hardly now 3 or 4 remaining. And after they die, that style will also die away. Because they don't have sufficient students to retain that particular style.
But otherwise, it is mostly Krishna Yajurveda in
Yes,
Maharashtra.
yes, yes, yes. If you want to have like 121 charters, then you will have to get all from South India. You don't have that many sufficient charters in Maharashtra. In fact, in Maharashtra, we don't even have, say, for the Taittiriya Shakha, in the original Maharashtrian style, we don't even have today 7 or 8 chanters. There are hardly 3 teachers and 4 students.
Hmm.
And the teachers are very old. They don't come for yajnas and yagas because they cannot travel.
Sairam sir, this is
Sai
not
Ram,
in praise. This is not in praise of any deity means Lord, right? This
I didn't. What is your question? Please be
uh,
clear.
like mantra pushpam in or like Narayana Upanishad or Shiva Upasana. There is no deity in this mantra. Atma means we are referring soul. That's it.
Atma is, yes, Atma is something, an abstract entity. There is no deity.
Okay.
Even in Shivopasana, there is no deity. Shivopasana is a quality. Shivam is quality. The quality of all the goodness, all the beauty, and all the bestness, superbness, excellences is termed as Shivam.
Okay.
So there also, even the Shivalingaya Namaha, we are doing the puja or the upasana of a pratika, which is the lingam. And that pratika is not the deity. The deity is remembered via the pratika. So even in
Okay.
Shivopasana, there is no deity as such. Although we have termed it Shivopasana, it means worshipping the best, the bestest, the supremest, and the beautifulest, and all three
Okay.
combined together. That is Shivam.
Okay. So when we are praising any deity, then we call it as suktam. Otherwise, mantra or upasana or something like that.
No, no, no. Suktam is typically characterized by Rishi Devata Chandas.
Okay.
It has a Rishi or a group of Rishis, it has a Devata which answers to that Suktam or which gave the Suktam, and the Chandas.
Okay.
So it has a Rishi Devata Chandas. That's called the Suktam.
Okay. Okay. Okay, sir.
But
Thank you.
uncle, in Shivapasana, like the deity we specifically call like Umapataye, Pashupataye Namaha.
Yes, but again, it starts with Lingam.
Right.
So, so the linga is a pratika of the universe. Shivopasana is a both. It can be considered as a deity worship. It can be considered as a quality worship. Both. It comes on both abstract, the visible as well as the invisible sides. It is not typically invisible completely. It's not typically visible completely. Like even Narayana Suktam, although it's a Suktam, it describes Narayana within the human heart. Nilato yada madhyastha vidyullekhe bhaswara. Now, which deity is referred to in this line? That there is a lightning like light in the blue clouds. इसमें कौन सा deity है? There is no deity. निवार शूकवत तन्वी पीताभा आस्वत्यनुपमा. निवारवत शूकवत tanvi, a very thin line. Nivaravat, like that grain of rice. And tasya shikhaya madhye, in its top, shikhaya madhye paramatma vyavasthitah. The paramatma is situated. Again, it's a description. It's not the deity, because paramatma cannot be a deity. It's a quality or it's a abstract entity. And then that paramatma is sub brahma. He is brahma. He is Shiva. He is Hari. Now we come to deities. That very paramatma is brahma. He is very Shiva. He is Hari. He is this. He is this. He is Indra. He is Swarat. So all the deities which you think that paramatma is this deity, which means the Paramatma gave rise to all these deities in turn. So even in Narayana Suktam, Narayana within the human heart is being described as an entity, not as a deity. The deity line comes only one line in the last thing, that these are the deities which arose from this fellow, the Paramatma Tattva.
Okay, uncle. Thank you.
See, it is very difficult to imagine God as a Tattva. That's why we construct statues and we construct temples. Swami has always said that the best temple is the human body. You will not be able to duplicate such another temple yourself. Any other observation or any other question? then I need a topic for tomorrow, Wednesday. Some of the mantras, whichever you may be chanting or whichever you may be studying.
Sai Rudram, brother, how
Sai
about
Rudram.
taking this Vishnu Suktam? Is it
Vishnu
possible?
Suktam, Vishnu Suktam is in a day it will be a tall order for me because the mantras are from 5 different sources. They are from the
Okay.
Taittiriya Brahmana, they are from the Upanishad, and they are from the Rig Veda. So I will have to require to six books. Physically, to refer to 6 books in a single day is a little difficult.
Maybe next week afterwards.
Yeah, next week can be attempted. Yes. Again, Vishnu Suktam is not a Suktam; it's a collection of mantras.
I see.
Because the first grouping is from the Taittiriya Brahmana, then we have from the Taittiriya Samhita, then again we have from the Rig Veda, and then from Taittiriya Samhita. Like in my document, I have given the citation for each and every Rig in the Vishnu Suktam. So, so-called Vishnu Suktam. There is no real Vishnu Suktam. It is chanted in the Vishnu temples by the Vaishnavas as a combination of mantras from the Rig Veda as well as the Krishna Yajurveda.
Yeah, in that Mantra Pushpam printed by Ramakrishna Mat,
It's
it is
there.
just
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
Yes,
it is
it's
there.
just around,
Hmm.
it's only around 1.5 page or something like that. Yeah.
It's short, but it's a collection of mantras from several sources, not one
Sorry.
source. Typically, a sukta will you open the Veda Samhita page and sukta will be in a single page in a single grouping. Vishnu Suktam is not like that. Vishnu Suktam is taken, the mantras in the Ramakrishna Mission book have been taken from Taittiriya Brahmana, Taittiriya Aranyaka, Taittiriya Samhita, and Rigveda Samhita.
Okay. Okay. Even the Shanti Mantra for Vishnu Suktam is different.
There is no Shanti mantra. It's Vishnu Nukam Virya and Prabhu. It's from the Samhita. And the last one is a blessing. Parya apya anantaraya yastarvastomoti ratra uttamamahar bhavati sarvasyapyai sarvasyachityai sarvameva apnoti sarvanjayati sarvanjayati. May all of you be victorious. That's a blessing mantra. As such, there is no Shanti mantra in the Vishnu Suktam. The Shanti mantra appears when it's from a particular Brahmana or Aranyaka chapter. Then the Shanti mantra will come. So these are mantras which are taken. Some mantras are from the Aranyaka. I have the PDF with me on this computer. I can tell you which are the sources. Anyway, I'll post the PDF which I have typed out, and you can read that citation in that. It's given Rig Samhita so and so, Rigveda Samhita, and Taittiriya Samhita so and so number, Taittiriya Brahmana so and so number. So you can look at it yourself. I'll post it on the group. I'll give it to Swarup and he will post it on the group.
Sure, sure, sure.
So for tomorrow, it is a little tall order. You know, I can't refer to so many books in a single day. And I have to refer to, and it's a physical books. They are not online. These books, they are physically with me. So some of the mantras are not even there in the books with the commentaries. Some of them are there, some of them are not there. So it's a little. It requires more time. So any other suggestion for tomorrow?
Sir, Ayushya Suktam, is it possible?
Yo Brahma Brahmana Ujjahara Kritivasa Pinaki. I have not studied it myself. I don't know whether I'll be able to do it. And again, Ayushya Suktam has no source. It is not there in Taittiriya Samhita, it is not there in Rigveda Samhita, it is not there in any book that I have access to. It is from unknown source. So again, difficult. Even my teacher does not know where it has come from because nobody knows the citation of Ayushya Suktam. Whether it is in the Veda or whether it is in some stotra, nobody knows about it. It has come down from like parampara. I'll do one thing. I'll do Shraddha Suktam, which is the Suktam I normally teach to a first day learner. It has got very short lines and it is very easy to understand, unlike Mantra Pushpam. Lines are as short as Mantra Pushpam, and the Shraddha Suktam occurs in the Rigveda as well as the Yajurveda. I teach the Yajurveda version because it is easy to chant. The Rigveda version requires special training. So, and the Shraddha Suktam is typically recommended for breastfeeding mothers that when you feed on the right side, you have to chant Medha Suktam. When you feed on the left side, you have to chant Shraddha Suktam. This is in the Rigvedana, the manual for Rigveda chanting. So it has to be inculcated in a child from before birth or just after birth. It's a fundamental quality which gives you self-confidence to deal with any situation in life, and that I will take up tomorrow. I will post the audio and the text right now. I have it ready. And it's the suktam which I take, the very first suktam for a learner, because it is easy to learn. You can master it in a single day. If you have a minimum mimicry quality of mimicking sounds, then you can master Shraddha Suktam in a single day or maybe 3 hours. So I'll post it right now for all of us on the group. So then I think we can conclude for today. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Samidyuvase Vrushannagne Vishwaanyarya A Iraspade Midhyase Sano Vasunya Bhara Sangachadhvam Samvadadhvam Sambhomana Sijanatam Deva Bhagam Yatha Purve Sanjanana Upasate Samano Mantras Samiti Samani Samanam Manassaha Chittame Esham Samanam Mantram Abhimantrayevas Samanena Vo Havisha Ajuhomi Samani Va Akutis Samana Hrudayani Va Samanamastu Vo Mano Yatha Avassu Sahasate Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Samasta Lokas Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Lokas Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Lokas Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Sarvam Shri Sai Ishwararpanamastu. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Sai Ram everyone. We will see tomorrow.
Sai Ram, brother. Sai Ram, everybody.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, everybody.
Sai Ram, sir. Sai Ram to all.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram.